On newly released medical evidence that seems to support George Zimmerman's claims about what happened on the night Trayvon Martin was shot and killed. Brand new hour here of America Live. Welcome, everyone. I'm Megan Kelly. The just released records detail the extent of Mr. Zimmerman's injuries after he told police that the 17-year-old Trayvon Martin attacked him in the city of Sanford, Florida, and that he fired his gun in self-defense. The new evidence does not speak to who attacked whom. It speaks to Mr. Zimmerman's injuries. And now we're hearing reports that the FBI is investigating possible hate crime charges against Zimmerman in connection with the death of the unarmed teenager. Trace Gallagher has all the latest developments live from our West Coast newsroom. Trace?
And George Zimmerman, Megan's medical records, as well as Trayvon Martin's autopsy report, is part of 67 CDs, documents handed over by the prosecutor to the defense. And it shows there that ABC News says the autopsy shows that Trayvon Martin's hands were bloody, that his knuckles were injured, that his skin was broken. And we are also learning that George Zimmerman's injuries were also more severe than has been reported. The day after the shooting, Zimmerman went to a family doctor whose records show that Zimmerman suffered, among other things, a broken nose, black eyes, a swollen lip, 2 scalp lacerations, one of which was an inch long, a minor back injury, and also complained of stress and nausea when he thinks, this is quoting here, when he thinks about the violence. Now, as you said, Megan, this certainly does not answer the question of who the initial aggressor was. That's up to a jury. But it certainly bolsters Zimmerman's story that he was attacked by Trayvon. And it supports the account of the only eyewitness that we know of that Trayvon was on top of Zimmerman before the shooting. Here is Loyola law professor Stan Goldman. Listen.
As soon as the government released its charging complaint, there were comments from analysts all over the country that this was very, very thin. You could never get a conviction based on simply what was in that document. And in some respects, this makes it worse for the prosecution. And why? Because not so much they didn't include this in their original filing, but they were hoping perhaps not to have to include it.
But the Trayvon Martin family defense attorney also spoke to Fox News today, and he says the injuries show that Trayvon Martin was fighting back because George Zimmerman was the aggressor and George Zimmerman was stalking Trayvon. Megan.
Wow. All right, Trace, thank you. Well, Zimmerman's next court date was originally set for the end of May. That's now been postponed until August 8th, when the court will schedule a specific date for a trial. Now that Trace has put these new facts out there, how would you rule if you were on the jury? Should the case be made that this was self-defense? Should the judge throw this out before it ever gets to a jury? We'll take a look in Kelly's